One of the greatest illusions that men live under is the belief that loyalty can be earned through effort alone. That if you just keep doing more, giving more, sacrificing more, surely that must bind her to you. And I understand why so many men think this way. From childhood, men are taught to measure worth by output. The harder you work, the greater the reward. It makes sense in business, in sports, even in friendships. But in the realm of women, that formula fails miserably because a woman is not designed to stay loyal to deeds. Her loyalty is not rooted in what you do. It is rooted in what she feels. Think about it. A man can build a palace for her, but if she feels emotionally neglected, the palace becomes nothing more than an empty cage. On the other hand, a man with very little material wealth, but who knows how to connect deeply with her emotions, can inspire loyalty that no amount of riches could ever buy. This is because women operate on a different axis of value. Deeds are external, feelings are internal. And her soul doesn't bind itself to what is outside, it binds itself to what is felt inside. You can take two men as examples. One gives her vacations, jewelry, endless gifts. The other offers her stability in his energy, presence in his attention, depth in his conversations. Which one do you think she'll remain loyal to when the storm comes? The answer is almost always the second, because gifts lose value when the heart feels starved. A woman will stay with the man who knows how to feed her inner world. Now, I'm not saying actions don't matter. Of course they do. Providing, protecting, investing effort, these are vital. But here's the truth, men don't like to hear those actions only carry weight if they are anchored in emotion. If your effort does not translate into how she feels when she's with you, the action is hollow. It's like wrapping an empty box in beautiful paper. It looks impressive, but when she opens it, there's nothing inside. And loyalty cannot grow in emptiness. Psychologically speaking, women are wired to respond to emotional energy more than transactional gestures. Neuroscience even supports this. Studies show that women's brains are more responsive to oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which is triggered not by gifts, but by emotional closeness, empathy, touch, and genuine presence. When she feels seen, heard, understood, that's when the bond forms. That's when loyalty takes root. And this is why so many men feel betrayed when they've done everything for her, yet she still walks away. They can't comprehend it. They say, after all I did for her, how could she leave? But that question reveals the very problem. You measured loyalty by what you did, not by what she felt. She didn't leave because you didn't do enough. She left because she didn't feel enough. This is where philosophy meets psychology. Human beings are not logical creatures. We are emotional creatures who use logic to justify emotions. A woman can sit down and list every good thing you've ever done for her. She can recognize your sacrifices and your efforts. But if her emotional body feels empty in your presence, none of that list matters. Her loyalty isn't tied to rational acknowledgement. It's tied to emotional fulfillment. So the real question becomes, how do you make her feel? Does she feel safe around you? Does she feel seen not just as a woman, but as a soul? Does she feel that in your presence? She can rest her guard and surrender. Because if she feels those things, loyalty is almost automatic. She won't even question it. Her loyalty will flow naturally, not because you bought it, not because you demanded it, but because you earned it on the level where it truly matters, her emotions. But here's the paradox. Many men confuse emotional connection with weakness. They think showing emotional intelligence, being attentive, or understanding her psychology somehow makes them less masculine. And so they compensate by overdoing the expensive gifts, the constant probing, the endless sacrifices. But this is exactly why the loyalty strategy fails. Masculinity is not in how much you give materially. Masculinity is in how much strength and depth you can provide emotionally while still holding your frame. That balance is what makes her stay. Let me illustrate it another way. Imagine loyalty as a tree. Deeds are the branches, visible, impressive, easy to notice, but emotions are the roots, hidden, silent, but absolutely essential. Without roots, the tree collapses no matter how beautiful its branches are. Without emotional roots, no matter what you do for her, loyalty cannot stand. And when you truly understand this, everything changes. You stop exhausting yourself with endless output, trying to buy what cannot be bought. You stop resenting her for not appreciating enough, because you realize appreciation and loyalty are two very different currencies. A woman may appreciate what you do, but she will only be loyal to how you make her feel. So men must stop asking, what more can I do? And start asking, what more can I embody? Because it's not the act, it's the energy behind the act. It's not the gift, it's the meaning attached to the gift. It's not the word, it's the emotional weight the word carries when it leaves your mouth. And this is the art of true influence with women, shifting from a transactional mindset to an emotional one. If you want her loyalty, stop drowning her in deeds and start anchoring her in emotions. Because at the end of the day, her loyalty is not to what you did, but to how you made her feel when you did it. And the reality is simple. She will forget the gifts, she will forget the sacrifices, but she will never forget the feeling. That feeling is where her loyalty lies. One of the most dangerous misunderstandings men carry into relationships is this idea that provision automatically guarantees loyalty. They believe if they just keep giving more money, more comfort, more material stability, a woman will never even think of leaving. And at the surface level, it looks logical. Who wouldn't stay with the man who provides security, a nice home, and a comfortable life? But if we look deeper, we see it isn't provision that keeps her loyal, it's respect. Without respect, provision becomes invisible. It doesn't matter how much you give. If she doesn't respect you, she will not stay loyal. This is where so many men sabotage themselves without realizing it. They confuse gratitude with loyalty. Gratitude is what you get for what you do. Loyalty is what you get for who you are. A woman may thank you, she may acknowledge the sacrifices, she may even admire your hard work, but none of that means she will remain loyal to you. Gratitude and loyalty are not the same currency. Loyalty belongs only to respect. Let's make it real. Picture a man who pays all the bills, ensures the house is comfortable, and works endlessly to give his family a better life. But at the same time, he is weak in his presence. He allows himself to be disrespected. He lacks boundaries and he avoids confrontation. He's providing, yes, but she doesn't respect him. Now tell me, how long will her loyalty last? She may stay for a while, but emotionally she has already left. And sooner or later that will manifest in her actions. Now imagine another man who doesn't have much but carries himself with dignity. He stands on his word, holds boundaries, and doesn't allow himself to be walked over. His presence commands respect. Even if he can't provide luxuries, she feels secure with him. That respect creates a loyalty that provision alone could never buy. This is why you sometimes see women loyal to men with very little material wealth, while others abandon wealthy men who gave them everything. It has nothing to do with money, it has everything to do with respect. Psychologically, respect is the foundation of loyalty because it touches a woman's primal need for strength. Provision without respect feels like charity, but respect transforms provision into leadership. A woman doesn't just want a man who provides, she wants a man she can look up to. Provision without respect makes her feel like a dependent, but when respect is there, provision makes her feel safe, cherished, and proud of the man she's with. And this is where many men fail. They overcompensate with provision when they lack respect. They think, if I just give more, she will stay. But the more they give without respect, the more she takes without loyalty. Why? Because giving without commanding respect creates an unbalanced dynamic where he becomes the servant and she becomes the queen. And queens do not stay loyal to servants. Respect, unlike provision, cannot be bought. It must be earned and maintained through strength of character. A man earns respect not by how much he gives, but by how firm he is in who he is. His word means something. His boundaries are not negotiable. His presence is steady, not reactive. He doesn't collapse under emotional pressure. That is what makes a woman look at him and say, this man is worthy of my loyalty. Think of it philosophically, provision appeals to her body, but respect appeals to her soul. A woman may enjoy the comfort provision brings, but her soul only attaches itself to a man she respects. And when the soul attaches, that's when loyalty becomes unshakable. You see this truth reflected throughout history. Kings who lost respect lost their queens, even if they kept their kingdoms. Warriors who had nothing but courage often inspired women's loyalty even in poverty. Respect is the eternal currency of loyalty. Provision is temporary. Here's the paradox men must face if you must constantly prove your worth through provision. It means you don't yet carry the presence that commands respect. Because a man who commands respect doesn't need to buy loyalty. His very essence demands it. Provision becomes a bonus, not the foundation. So ask yourself, are you seeking loyalty through provision or through respect? Because one creates dependency, the other creates devotion. When she depends on you for provision but doesn't respect you, she will stay only as long as the provision lasts. But when she respects you, even if everything else falls apart, her loyalty remains. That's the difference between a woman who loves your lifestyle and a woman who loves you. And here's the painful truth. A woman will forgive lack of provision if respect is present, but she will never forgive lack of respect, no matter how much provision you offer. That is why men who give everything still lose women, while men who give little but carry immense respect inspire loyalty that defies logic. Respect outweighs provision because provision satisfies her today, but respect secures her tomorrow. Provision comforts her body, but respect anchors her heart. Provision can be taken away, but respect endures even in hardship. So the lesson is clear. Stop trying to buy her loyalty. You can't boot her respect instead. Stand on who you are, not just on what you give. Because the truth is simple. A woman may appreciate what you provide, but she will only be loyal to the man she respects. And when respect is present, provision is sweet. But without respect, provision is meaningless. If there is one truth that unsettles men the most, it is this: women test strength, not gifts. You can shower her with presents, buy her the latest phone, drive her in the nicest car, and take her to the most beautiful places. She will enjoy it, yes, she may even thank you for it. But none of it secures her loyalty, because behind all of it, consciously or unconsciously, she is running one silent test. Are you strong? And I don't just mean physical strength, I mean emotional, mental, and spiritual strength. The kind of strength that makes her feel, I am safe here. This is something many men misinterpret. They believe that constant giving proves their value, when in reality it often exposes their weakness. Because if you are trying to compensate with gifts, you are signaling that you don't trust yourself to be enough without them. And women sense that. They sense when a man is overcompensating. They sense when a man is performing instead of standing firm. And when she senses that, her respect, and therefore her loyalty, begins to erode. Let's take an example. Imagine a man who never says no. Whatever she asks, he gives. At first, she might enjoy the freedom. She might feel flattered. But soon she begins to lose respect for him. Why? Because deep down, she knows that if he cannot stand firm against her, he cannot stand firm against the world. And if he cannot stand firm against the world, how can he protect her in it? That is the essence of her test. She is not testing you to be cruel. She is testing to see if your strength is real, because her safety depends on it. Now contrast that with a man who gives when it's right, but who also says no when necessary. He doesn't move from his boundaries. He is generous, yes, but not out of fear of losing her. He is unshaken by her moods, unmoved by manipulation, and steady under pressure. That man doesn't need to shower her with gifts to earn her loyalty. His very presence is the gift. His strength is what anchors her. And when a woman feels that loyalty is not something she has to think about, it's something she feels naturally. Psychologically, this makes perfect sense. Human beings, especially women, are wired to seek safety. And safety doesn't come from luxuries, it comes from the presence of strength. Neuroscience tells us that in times of uncertainty, people seek leadership, stability, and calm. Women instinctively look for that in men. That's why her loyalty will never attach to what you provide materially. It will attach to the strength you embody consistently. But here is where the paradox appears. Many men today are uncomfortable with strength. They confuse strength with dominance, with aggression, with cruelty. That is not strength. True strength is not loud. It is not violent. True strength is controlled power. It is the ability to remain calm when the situation is chaotic. It is the ability to enforce boundaries without losing compassion. It is the ability to lead without crushing. That strength is what she tests for. Her tests may come in small ways. She may push a little, question you, challenge you. She may even create scenarios that seem irrational. But underneath, she is not looking to be won over with gifts. She is looking to see if you can hold your ground without collapsing. Can you remain stable while she tests the edges of your frame? Can you reassure her not with words, not with money, but with your presence? That is the test, and those who fail it often lose her loyalty. Men who understand this stop being frustrated with her tests and start respecting them. They see that her testing is not rejection. It is a search for truth. She is not trying to destroy your strength, she is trying to confirm it. And when you pass those tests, when you remain steady in who you are, she relaxes. She doesn't need endless reassurance. She doesn't need extravagant gestures. Your strength answers the question her soul is asking. Can I trust him to lead me through life's storms? Philosophically, we can even say that gifts appeal to her ego. But strength appeals to her essence. Her ego may be impressed by the diamonds, the vacations, the luxuries. But her essence only surrenders to the man whose strength she cannot shake. That is why women sometimes leave men who gave them everything. They left not because they didn't like the gifts, but because they never felt the strength. And that is also why women stay loyal to men who give little materially but carry immense inner strength, because the feeling of safety cannot be bought. So the real question is not, what can I give her to keep her? The real question is, what strength can I embody so that she feels she cannot lose me? When that strength is real, gifts become a bonus. Without that strength, gifts become a distraction. And here is the uncomfortable reality. If you do not have strength, her tests will expose you. You can hide behind money, behind gifts, behind effort, but eventually the truth comes out. And when the truth reveals weakness, her loyalty evaporates. She cannot attach her soul to weakness. It is not in her nature. So don't resent her for testing. Don't complain that she doesn't appreciate the gifts. Instead, focus on what she is truly loyal to, your strength. Because the woman who feels the steady power of a man's presence doesn't need the world handed to her. She already feels she has the world because she has him. And that is the truth. She is not testing what you give. She is testing who you are. Pass that test and her loyalty is yours. Fail it, and no gift will ever be enough. One of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships is overvaluing intensity and undervaluing consistency. They believe that one grand gesture, one passionate moment, one unforgettable trip will secure a woman's loyalty forever. And yes, those moments create memories, but memories alone do not anchor devotion. What secures loyalty is not the firework, it is the steady flame that burns day after day. A woman does not bind herself to your occasional highs. She binds herself to the pattern of who you are when no one is watching. Consistency is the true measure of strength. Any man can rise to the occasion once. Any man can put on a performance, can say the right words, can buy the right gift, can hold himself together for a short while. But what does he become when the excitement fades? Who is he in the quiet, uneventful, ordinary days? That is where loyalty is built or broken. Let me give you an image. Imagine water dripping on stone. One drop seems insignificant, but over time, it shapes the rock itself. That's what consistency does in a relationship. It carves devotion into the heart of a woman, not by the force of one dramatic moment, but by the quiet repetition of reliability. She begins to feel, not just believe, that she can depend on you. And dependence in this sense is not weakness, it is trust. Trust is born when words and actions align over time. This is why women pay more attention to patterns than promises. You can say you love her, you can say you respect her, you can say you will be there, but she is watching your consistency. If your actions contradict your words, if your presence is unstable, if your moods swing wildly, her loyalty begins to waver. Because loyalty is not built on words, it is built on patterns she can rely on. Men often misunderstand this dynamic. They think loyalty requires bigger gestures, more sacrifice, more intensity. But the truth is far simpler. Loyalty grows when she can predict your strength, when she knows who you are no matter the circumstances. She doesn't need fireworks every day. She needs to know that every day the flame will be lit. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is powerful. Think about it. If a man protects her once but fails her 9 times, she cannot feel safe. If a man is affectionate only when it suits him, she cannot feel cherished. If a man is calm some days but explosive on others, she cannot feel secure. It doesn't matter how good he is in isolated moments, the inconsistency erodes trust. And without trust, there is no loyalty. Philosophically, consistency reflects truth. A person's essence is revealed not in their highs, but in their habits. Who you are consistently is who you truly are. And women, consciously or unconsciously, are always measuring that. They don't bind themselves to your potential, they bind themselves to your pattern. A man may have potential to be great, but if his pattern is chaos, no woman will remain loyal for long. Psychologically, This makes perfect sense. Human beings crave stability, and women in particular seek emotional security. Stability doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. Neuroscience even shows that predictable, reliable behavior reduces anxiety and increases bonding. This is why consistent presence, consistent attention, and consistent strength create a deeper loyalty than any single act of passion. But here's the paradox. Consistency requires discipline, and discipline is what many men lack. It's easy to be impressive once, it's hard to be reliable daily. Yet this is what defines true masculinity. A man's ability to remain steady, to keep showing up, to hold his word over time. That is what transforms admiration into loyalty. Let me make it practical. Imagine a man who surprises his woman with a luxury trip once a year, but is emotionally absent the rest of the time. Compare him to a man who shows up daily with genuine attention, steady presence, and unwavering support. Even if he never buys the luxury trip, who do you think will inspire more devotion? Always the second man, because loyalty is not purchased in moments, it is cultivated in patterns. And this doesn't mean perfection. Consistency doesn't mean never making mistakes. It means when you stumble, you correct yourself quickly. It means she can trust that your overall direction is steady, even if you falter. That predictability, that reliability creates a deep emotional anchor. She feels she can lean on you. And when she feels that, loyalty becomes second nature. Without consistency, everything else collapses. Respect cannot survive inconsistency. Strength cannot prove itself without repetition. Provision loses value if it is unreliable. Consistency is the glue that holds it all together. Without it, loyalty cannot take root, and this is why women sometimes walk away from men who gave them everything in flashes but nothing in patterns. The inconsistency drained her trust. She couldn't rely on him. And without reliability, her soul detached. On the other hand, women remain fiercely loyal to men who may not give everything, but who give themselves consistently steady, present, and real. So stop asking how to impress her. Start asking how to be consistent with her. Because in the end, loyalty is not about the size of your gestures. It's about the steadiness of your presence. And that is the truth. Passion may spark her interest, but consistency is what builds her devotion. Without it, no loyalty can survive. Attraction is powerful, but it is temporary. It's like fire. It burns hot. It burns bright. But without fuel, it eventually fades. And this is where so many men get it wrong. They believe attraction alone is enough to keep her loyal. They think that if she was once drawn to them, if she once felt butterflies, that attraction will carry the relationship forever. But attraction without respect is fragile. Once respect is gone, attraction dies quickly. And when attraction dies, loyalty doesn't just weaken. It collapses. You see, attraction is largely biological. It can be triggered by looks, charm, charisma, or status. It's an entry point, a spark. Respect, however, is psychological. It is built through character, consistency, and strength. Attraction gets her attention, but respect keeps her invested. And if you can't maintain respect, no amount of attraction will hold her. Think of it this way: attraction makes her want you. Respect makes her stay with you. Without respect, even the most attractive man becomes disposable. You may have seen this in real life. Men who are physically desirable, wealthy, or charismatic still lose women. Why? Because the woman admired their surface, but she couldn't respect their core. And without that respect, loyalty could never grow. Respect is the foundation of desire. A woman cannot desire a man she does not respect. She may use him, she may tolerate him, she may even stay with him temporarily. But loyalty requires a deeper bond, and that bond cannot exist without respect. That's why you see women lose interest in men who constantly try to please, who bend over backward, who have no backbone. They may appreciate the attention for a time, but eventually they feel no respect. And without respect, attraction fades like smoke in the wind. Now, this doesn't mean attraction is irrelevant, it matters. Physical, emotional, and intellectual attraction are powerful. But attraction alone is not sustainable. Philosophically, we can say attraction is like a spark of illusion. It shows potential. Respect is like truth. It reveals substance. And human beings, especially women, cannot remain bound to illusion for long. Eventually, reality sets in. This is why relationships built only on chemistry collapse. Chemistry creates intensity, but intensity without structure burns out. Respect is the structure. Respect is what sustains attraction when the initial spark fades. Without it, the spark dies, and with it, the loyalty. Psychologically, this aligns with how human bonding works. Studies on long-term attraction show that qualities like reliability, integrity, and emotional intelligence, not just physical appeal, determine whether attraction evolves into lasting loyalty. Women, in particular, are wired to attach emotionally and mentally, not just physically. If respect is missing, the emotional attachment unravels, and once that unravels, no amount of external attraction can repair it. Here's the paradox: men often chase attraction while neglecting respect. They want to be admired, desired, wanted, but they don't realize that the very behaviors they use to keep attraction alive, over-pleasing, avoiding conflict, trying too hard, actually destroy respect. And when respect is destroyed, attraction dies with it. A man who commands respect never has to chase attraction. His strength and presence keep it alive naturally. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine a man who looks good, dresses well, and knows how to charm. At first, she's drawn in. But over time, she notices he avoids responsibility, he crumbles under pressure, or he tolerates disrespect. Slowly, her respect fades, and as her respect fades, her attraction vanishes too. She may even look at him and wonder, what did I ever see in him? That's the power of respect. It doesn't just sustain attraction, it defines whether attraction even exists. Now consider another man. He may not be the most handsome or the most charming, but he stands firm, holds boundaries, leads with calm strength, and consistently shows reliability. Over time, she finds herself more and more attracted to him, not because of surface qualities, but because respect fuels her attraction. The more she respects him, the more loyal she feels. Her attraction deepens into devotion. Philosophically, this shows us something profound. Beauty may catch the eye, but character captures the soul. And only the soul's capture can produce true loyalty. Without respect, attraction is shallow. With respect, attraction becomes timeless. So the question every man must ask himself is not, how do I make her more attracted to me? But how do I live in a way that earns her respect? Because if she respects you, attraction will follow naturally, even as time passes. But if she does not respect you, attraction will inevitably die, no matter how strong it once was. And here is the truth most men avoid. Once a woman loses respect for you, it is almost impossible to get it back. You can't buy it with gifts. You can't beg for it with apologies. You can't rebuild it with promises. Respect must be maintained, not repaired. It is the one currency in relationships that once lost rarely returns. So don't just chase attraction, build respect. Don't just create sparks, build firewood. Because sparks die without fuel, but firewood keeps the flame alive for years. Respect is that fuel. It is the quiet, steady force that keeps loyalty burning long after the butterflies are gone. And that is the truth. Attraction may open the door, but only respect keeps it from closing. Lose her respect and you lose her loyalty. Keep her respect and her attraction her devotion will never fade. At the end of the day, a woman is not loyal to your money, your gifts, or even the sacrifices you've made. She is loyal to the experience of being with you. That may sound simple, but it's one of the most profound truths men fail to grasp. You can do everything right on paper, but if her lived experience leaves her feeling unseen, unsafe, or unfulfilled, she will detach. Her loyalty is not tied to the list of things you've done. It is tied to how her soul feels when she is with you. And this is why so many men are shocked when women walk away. They tally the acts, they replay the sacrifices, they remind themselves of all they provided. But loyalty is not an equation of deeds. It is an embodiment of experience. If the experience of being with you leaves her restless, anxious, or drained, no act of provision or display of effort will override that reality. She does not stay loyal to the resume of what you did. She stays loyal to the feeling she carries in her body every time she's around you. Let's pause here because this is critical. Human beings at their core are not magical creatures. We are emotional beings who use logic to justify our emotions. A woman may tell herself, hey, he's a good man, he's done so much for me, he doesn't deserve to be left. But if her experience of you feels heavy, uninspiring, or suffocating, her emotions will eventually overpower her reasoning. And when emotions win, loyalty is gone. What does this mean practically? It means she is loyal to the way you hold yourself in her presence. Is your energy calm or chaotic? Do you bring stability or confusion? Does she feel safe to soften? Or does she feel she has to harden to survive around you? These questions determine her loyalty far more than your bank account or your gestures, because her body keeps score, her nervous system remembers. If her experience of you is safety, she binds herself to you. If her experience of you is instability, she detaches no matter what you give. Philosophically, this truth reveals something even deeper. Loyalty is not external, it is internal. It is not about what you bring into her life materially, but what you awaken in her life emotionally and spiritually. Some men bring chaos into a woman's life even while providing materially. Others bring peace into a woman's life even with very little. Who do you think she stays loyal to? Always the one who provides the experience of peace, of safety, of inspiration. Because experiences shape the soul in a way objects never can. Think of it like music. A song may have perfect lyrics, but if the melody is dull, it won't touch you. Another song may have simple words, but the melody stirs your soul and you never forget it. Relationships are the same. Your actions may look perfect on the surface, but if the melody of your presence doesn't move her, she won't stay. Loyalty is not to the lyrics, it's to the music. This is also why women can remain deeply loyal to men who have fallen on hard times. He may lose his wealth, his status, or his external power, but if her experience of him is still grounded in strength, in vision, in calm leadership, she remains. Because her loyalty is not to the changing circumstances of his life, it is to the unchanging way she feels in his presence. That feeling is her anchor. Psychologically, this explains why consistency, respect, and strength matter so much. Each of them contributes to her experience of you. Consistency makes her feel safe. Respect makes her feel valued. Strength makes her feel protected. Put these together, and her experience of you becomes irreplaceable. And when her experience is irreplaceable, her loyalty is unquestionable. But here's the danger: men often sabotage their own presence. They think provision replaces presence. They think gifts replace emotional resonance. They think apologies replace consistency. But she's not measuring you by isolated acts. She's measuring you by the overall experience of being with you. And that experience is holistic. It's not one deed. It's the pattern of energy you carry. This is why your inner world matters more than your outer world. You can't fake the experience you bring. If you are insecure, anxious, or unstable, she will feel it no matter how much you try to cover it with grand gestures. If you are calm, confident, and grounded, she will feel that even if you give her nothing material, her loyalty attaches to your energy more than your effort. So the real question becomes, what is her experience of you? When she's with you, does she feel peace or tension? Does she feel seen or invisible? Does she feel cherished or tolerated? These experiences determine loyalty in ways most men never realize. And if you want true loyalty, you must build not just what you do, but who you are in her presence. Because in the end, she doesn't stay loyal to the vacations, the jewelry, the house, or the status. She stays loyal to how she feels when she lies next to you at night. She stays loyal to how her body relaxes when you walk into the room. She stays loyal to the peace, the security, the inspiration that only your presence provides. That is what binds her. And here's the truth many avoid. If her experience of you is not nourishing, she will eventually seek an experience that is. It's not betrayal, it's survival. Because loyalty cannot grow in an environment that drains the soul. So, stop asking, what more can I do for her? Start asking, what experience am I creating for her? Because in the end, that is the only thing she will ever be loyal to. And this is the final truth. She is not loyal to your deeds. She is loyal to her experience of you. Change the experience and you change the loyalty.